In this video, let's look at colors in PineScript, and I created like a small widget for you, and here I gathered all functionality for the colors so you can understand better what you can do with colors in PineScript. So first of all, here on the left you can see I have a list of built-in colors. So PineScript added around 16, 17 built-in colors as built-in variables, and you can use them by just like color.aqua, color.black, without basically specifying the code. And here you will find all basic colors, so I think that's quite useful to use this without going into the custom codes. In addition to built-in colors, of course, you can create your own colors, and there are a few ways for that. And the easiest way is to use a hex code for the color. It starts with a hash and has 6 digits or letters. It represents like RGB component of your color. For every like 2 digits or numbers represents RGB components. So as you can see here, I created 2 custom colors, and also you can use more advanced functions to create your colors. So the simplest one is color.new, so you can specify a color, and also you can specify transparency you want for this color, and this will create colors with different transparencies. For example, this one has transparency of 75%, this one is 50%, and this one is 25%. And as a first argument here, I used built-in colors, a color in the first 3 calls, but in this one you can see that I use like a custom color has a hex code, and also I use transparency, so it works quite well as well. In addition to color.new, you can use color.rgb, and here you can explicitly set what color do you want to use by providing all the components for your color. So red component, green and blue component of the color, and the 4th argument is transparency, and here you can, for the colors, you need to specify a number from 0 to 155. So if I pass like 220 to 55, 0 and 0, this is basically like a red color. Also, there is a pretty interesting function in PineScript for creating colors, color.fromGradient, and this can be useful if you want to create some pretty useful indicator with advanced like plotting functionality. So how it works? So first you provide the value for you want to use to define your color. After that you provide minimal value and maximum value you want to have gradient for. And after that you specify 2 colors, color.red and color.green. And based on this value, PineScript will look at your min and max value, and will kind of try to interpolate current value between the colors you provided, so you have kind of smooth transparency for all the values inside this range. And here, for example, like I have like 5 colors, so I kind of have like this interpolation from red to green, and I have only like 5 values here, so from 0 to 4, and here I called it for all the four values. So as you can see, so it looks quite nice. And the last set of functions I want to talk about in this video is functions you can use to get separate component of the colors in PineScript. So here, for example, I have this violet color. I created it using like a custom code, and using this function I listed here, you can get a component for all the colors. So color.r will get like our red component of our color from as a number from 0 to 255. So color.g will get like a green component, and color.b will get blue component. And of course, with the color.t you can get transparency component. In previous videos, we looked a bit at time, which we checked time built-in variables, also In previous videos, we looked a bit at time. We checked time built-in variables. Also, we looked at time input that allows you to get input from the user as a time. But in this video, let's look into details at like time format and some functions that can help you to work with time in PineScript. So first of all, let's check time format. And as I said to you before, this is actually like a Unix format. And it represents number of milliseconds that passed from 1st of January 1970. And of course, it's not very convenient to work this way. It's really hard to understand what is the time, what is the date from here. So there are a bunch of functions that can help you to work with that. So there's a bunch of functions I called like time components functions, and you can pass your variable to this function and they will output you like component of your time variable. So in here you have, for example, a year. So now it's 2021. Month. So for your current variable, your month is 12. Week of the year will output you number of the week in the current year. So current week is 50th in this year. Also, you can get day of the month, hour, minute, and second. And because I'm using here time now built-in variable, you can see that these variables changes for me. Unfortunately, there is no functions to add or subtract time from your time variables in PineScript. But because this is actually underneath, it's like just an integer variable, what you can do, you can just add like some amounts of milliseconds, and this way you can kind of simulate adding and subtracting time. So here, for example, I have some examples. So basically you can take like time now variable or any variable you want, and you can add 1,000 to it, and you will get like time plus 1 second. And also you can do the same, but add 1,000 multiplied by 660, and this will add like 1 minute to your time. And the same, if you will multiply it by 60 again, you will get your time plus 1 hour, and so on and so on. So you can see, for example, here I add 1 day to my time, and here in the last example I subtract 1 day the same way. I just basically can just do the like a minus, and this will work fine for that case as well. Here on the right I have a few more interesting functions. So first one is timestamp function. And what it allows you to do is actually can transform like human readable representation of time into internal Unix format you can use inside PineScripts. And there are quite a lot of different ways of using these functions, and let's look at main of them. So first of all, you can just call timestamp, and here you can pass your year, months, day, hours, and minutes. And this will output you like a timestamp in a Unix format that you can use in your script to compute something. And also you can do pretty much the same, but as a first variable you can specify like what time zone do you want this day to be in. And here, for example, I'm using like a current time zone of my chart, and in the next example here, for example, I already using GMT plus 6, and as you can see I get different timestamp, which is logical. And also you can actually use timestamp not with like a bunch of parameters, but just pass like a string to this function, and just to use like dates in different formats. And one of them you can like pass like your like a month, date, year, and after that hours, minutes, seconds. On you can put a year, a month, date, and after that hours, minutes, seconds. Or you can see you can do this even this way, like date, day, months, a year. After that hours, minutes, seconds. After you can specify like that time zone you want this date to be in. So you can see quite a lot of examples, checks, documentation. But I think to be sure that PineScript parse your script in the right way, you can just have to use like timestamp with it like on top format like here, and this way you will be sure that it's parsing it correctly. And the last function I want to talk in this video is time function. Time function actually is quite interesting. So you can pass like a time frame you want to look at, and it will output you like the open of this bar that correspond to this time frame. So here we're currently at 5-minute bars, and if I pass like time 60, PineScript will look at the current 1 hour bar and will output me open for this bar. So it's quite handy for some situations. Moreover, you can specify not only time frame, but also you can specify a session. So for example, here I want to display only bars that are between 9 o'clock and 2 p.m. And if your bar is not in this range, it will put you not a number, so you can ensure that this bar is in your time frame. And also, in addition to that, at the third argument, you can specify time zone you want to look at. So here, for example, I have two identical calls, but here I just changed my time zone, and here I receive like a value, but here I didn't. So it can be quite handy if you want to create some logic that will work only in certain sessions. I use this function quite a lot.